All right. Father, thank you for this time that we get to just come here and learn Greek. We pray for wisdom. We pray for understanding. We just pray that all like our brain work properly as we learn. Yeah, thank you for prompting Peter to actually do these sessions. We really appreciate it, and I just pray that you bless him as he goes on teaching and learning in Greece at the moment. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So we'll start with sharing the screen. Great. So hopefully you can see this screen here with the two past tenses. Yeah. Okay, so I did manage to send this to you before, so I'm prepared a little bit more than before, but let's just quickly go over this. I'm not planning on going over all of it at the beginning, but feel free to interrupt. Okay, so back in lesson 4, I introduced Greek verbs to us, and to be honest, I think they're probably the hardest thing. We may have thought the nouns and the pronunciation and the alphabet were difficult, but the verbs just seem to go on and on and on. So we've been exploring them. Last lesson actually was a bit less verbs. It was a bit more to do with of the and his, and its. If you missed that lesson, obviously you won't get all the detail, but you'll see the pattern now. So when we were doing the verbs, we avoided the past tenses. We were covering the sort of present tense, the general tense, where you have one form of the verb. Then with the future tenses, you tend to have two of them. And then the futures, you put a tha at the front of the verb. And to distinguish between the two tenses is a bit of manipulation that you do, which I'll be talking about shortly. That same idea, you can maybe put na in front or as. So various other related tenses to do with something which is a possibility. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So I'm choosing a verb as an example here, litrono, which is I redeem. And here we are, I've shown the endings. So these are the normal endings in sort of the present tense. So o, is, I, ume, ete, and un or une. Okay. And basically you put that on the end of the verb and you get all these patterns. And it's by looking at the end of the verb that you know actually who is doing the redeeming. So obviously if we take this verb, redeem, the common endings will be this one is, because Jesus, well really you'd use past tense that he has redeemed us, or he redeemed us, which we'll come to shortly, but you could say you redeem us. Or if you're talking about Christ, you could say Christ redeemed us. So that would give you this ending. For other verbs, often we have the o ending, something about me, I, which I'm doing, or something about all of us, who may. Okay, the other one. So if the verb had the tonos here in the stem, which litrono doesn't, it has it sort of, well, to from the end of the verb or at the end of the stem. The stem is up to the n. Yeah. So if the tonos was here, then when we come to these ones down here, because the ending is longer and the tonos has to be on the last three, we would have to move it along. So it would come here. Similarly for this one, if it was normally for the verb, if it was on here, so some other verb which I haven't given here, then it would have to move it on for the you, the plural version or the polite version. And also if you choose the ending at the end of the they form, then that would have the same thing, the extra syllable, so it would have to move the tonos up, so it would be in the last three. Okay, so I've shown the example here where before the ending, the last thing is a consonant sound, it's a n. Okay, we'll go through the other cases shortly. Right, so I've mentioned some of this. Lesson 5, we introduced the two future tenses. The simplest one, you put that on the front. So this is for future action, which is sort of general behavior, happening many times or continually. So that litrono, you could translate as I will be redeeming. Okay. A bit of an odd example, but we're just really doing an exercise here. Exercise on verbs. obviously I myself, I can't really redeem anyone. I suppose I could redeem time. Anyway. So the other future tense, you have to get some S coming into the end of this consonant. And you use this one for something which is only going to happen once, or maybe the speaker hasn't particularly thought about the future frequency or doesn't really want to be considering it. So with a future tense, in a way, you're making a bit of a promise about the future. So for the simpler one, where you use the normal verb, you're making a promise that something will happen a lot. Whereas for this one, when you put the S in the ending, the S sound, you're really only making a promise for a single thing. So no wonder people would use that more commonly. Okay, deliberate mistake here. That's my story anyway. For litrono, you would say future for this version, tha litroso. Okay. And we also mentioned, I think, in previous lessons that the way you put the S in does vary a little bit according to where the consonant sound is made in the mouth. Whether if it's something to do with the lips, then it becomes ps. If it's something sort of back in the throat, it becomes ks. And if it's something in the middle, it becomes s. And there are quite a few exceptions. Okay, so let's move on to the past tense. Okay, so instead of using tha, it would be nice if there was some other prefix we could use like that, and that would just do the past tense. But instead, we have some different endings to do. So instead of o, you have a, es, ame, ate, an, or ane. Yeah. The most common one you come across is the S, because this is something God has done. Yeah. So, but we'll come across that one as well. Or maybe something that I did, something that God or Christ did when I'm talking to him, or if I'm talking about God, something that he did. So taking litrono, taking the more common case when something's only done once, or we're not considering the frequency. I missed a bit out. You also have to move the tonos back one syllable. Kind of if you can. Yeah. So here the tonos for litrono used to be on this o, and it's come here now. So this is litrosa. Okay. Maybe if you'd all like to mute yourselves, you can sort of copy me if you want. Okay, we'll be singing these as well. So this is litrosa, litroses, litrose. So this is he, she, or it redeemed. Now we've got this business where if we had moved the tonus back, because our ending has got two syllables, it will be too far back. It has to be in the last three. So now it's back on the o. So this is litrosame, litrosame, litrosate, and then litrosan. Sorry, litrosan. I got this wrong. Litrosan, or if you got the e on the end, because it was optional here, whether you put the e, it's quite rare, but it does come in more in some of the songs. Then if you've got the e at the end, we've got the same thing about it has to be in the last three syllables. So this one here is litrosan, and this one is litrosane. Litrosan, litrosane. Okay. Alternatively, we don't have to bother with this changing the n to a s. We could have left it back as it was. And this is a rarer past tense. So this is talking about something which happened in the past, which is for, as before, it's for previous general behavior. It was happening many times or continually. So the same pattern that we've kind of got for the future tense, but we're talking past. So off we go again. So litrona, litrones, litrone, litroname, litronate, litronan, litronane. Have I got that one wrong? Litronan, and litronane. I think I might have had it right. Okay, so in worship, the most common one is S. Okay. Unfortunately, S we also use as a suffix for plurals of feminine nouns, and also many masculine nouns can have this. So we have to think back to our way of sort of pulling apart sentences and trying to work out which is the noun phrase, which is the verb, and so on. So, and two other verbs which follow this pattern, lirono, I pay. So this will become an S, and you'll have the business of changing the endings and maybe moving the tonus back. In most cases you do. And hariso, which really comes from haris. So this is to do with grace. So that I'm giving something valuable for free. I do really like this verb. It's much better than dino, which is just I give. You know, you're emphasizing the value of the thing and the fact that it's free. It's great, great verb. Probably my favorite verb of all the verbs. Okay, another little section. If your verb is shorter, then you can't really move the consonant back because there isn't a syllable before to move it back onto. So, for example, if we take sozo, which is I save, then as well as changing the z to a s, or the normal I saved past tense, and changing the ending, you often would want to, if it's a short ending, you'd want to move the tonus of the o back. And in this case, you go and put an e at the front. So you get esosa, esoses, esose. Now what we've got now is, because we've got the two syllable ending, we can't go moving the tonus back, so we don't bother with the e. So we get sosame, sosaste, and then again the pair, esosan and sosane. And so these two are actually anagrams of each other, if you like anagrams. Maybe you'd like to unmute yourselves and ask me any questions. Shall we continue?
I think I'm following okay right now.
Okay, great. Okay, so we did the imperative when, with the imperative, you're telling someone what to do. And if you remember, for the imperative, for the U version, one person, you go and put an e on the end. And you also would try and move the tonus back if you can. So the consequence of that is that if we take this one here, litrose, it could be he, she, or it redeemed, or it could be imperative telling somebody to go and redeem. You can't tell because it's got the same ending. Okay. I mean, you have to do it from the context. It would be odd. Well, I suppose you could go and redeem something from the pawnbroker or something like that. So perhaps you could come across this form as an action telling someone to do it. One difference, though, with the imperative, when you're ordering or telling somebody to do something, you don't put the E on the front. So, esose means he, she, or it saved. Whereas if I'm telling you to save something, I'd say source. Okay, the tonus would have stayed here. Okay, so New Testament Greek and ancient Greek used to put this business on the front for longer verbs as well. And you'll see that in your New Testament Greek. Now, what that means is if you've got a verb like this, ipo, phero, so this is actually an old style prefix for underneath. So when I say old style, I mean like in ancient Greek. So this is under, and this is something like bringing or something like this. And this has the meaning of I suffer. So the old New Testament Greek verb, if you were doing the past, it would be ephera, because it's a short verb, phero, and you want to move it back, the tonus. So you'd have an E at the front there. And that E sound then merges with the end of the prefix. So you get υπέφερα. Okay? Υπέφερα. So that's I suffered. Okay? Now, actually, this verb only has one form, so it can be both. It could be that it was done once, or it was done sort of many times. So I suffered, or I was suffering. Okay. Actually, with many verbs, people forget about this, and it would carry on as υπόφερα. I don't remember if for this verb you see both, but it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, let's skip the exceptions now. We'll come to them, don't worry. Okay, so that was when the tonos wasn't on the ending. It was before the ending. Actually, there was a consonant sound before. So another verb we'd come across is οδηγώ, which is I guide or I drive. And here the long sound, the tonos, is on the ending. So what we did then when we had the future for when the thing was happening once, or the speaker hasn't really thought about the future frequency, we have the or the Yiso. So although we've got the O, what we've kind of done is we've added the S by adding is. Okay, so we've inserted a long I and an S sound in here. That's how we added the S. I haven't highlighted this terribly well like that. So this is got inserted in here and it was a long sound. The tonus was on it. Okay, so then if you want to follow the procedure above for the past form of it, you would have οδήγησα, because I've changed the ending and I've moved the tonus back one. οδήγησα. Okay. This is fun. Tonos is one of the hardest things I find in Greek, and actually there's quite a few hard things. That's why I'm having lessons. But the way the tonus moves around and then how you have to get your mouth to sort of work differently, it's kind of weird. You do get used to it a bit, I think. There's also a past tense for general behavior, and there we've, instead of having an E, we've got an U. So οδήγουσα. So this gamma has changed from an E to a G because of where the which vowel sound comes after it. So that's a bit more complication, but I don't think we'll come across this very much in what we're singing. Okay, one we have come across a lot is agapao.
Sorry, could you say that word again?
This one here highlighted?
Yeah, yes, please, yeah.
Hold on, I'm just getting myself ready.
That's fine.
This one's οδήγησα.
Yeah, οδήγησα.
Οδήγουσα. Οδήγουsa. Yeah. It's a harder G than an English G. You sort of open up your throat a bit. Οδήγουσα.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Go for it.
So on not the one you highlighted blue, but the one above. Oh, this computer's touch screen. I forgot. Okay. You said it's οδήγησα. Why wouldn't it be?
Ye.
Okay, I was wondering why it wasn't ye, but I didn't know if I heard it wrong or. Okay, so it's οδήγησα.
Yeah. So gamma.
Οδήγησα.
If it's
okay,
you may know them as hard vowels and soft vowels, or front back vowels. So if the vowel after it is an E or an then it becomes ye and yeah. If the vowel, because there's only really 5 vowels, if the vowel is at the back, so o, a, and u, then it would be go, ga, and gu. So gamma is funny. It changes according to what the vowel is that's after it.
So say the one you have highlighted again.
οδήγησα. οδήγησα.
So it changes to ya, not ye.
No, I made a mistake. οδήγησα. οδήγησα. Thank you.
Οδήγησα. Okay.
No. οδήγησα would be if the tonus is here.
Yeah, οδήγησα.
οδήγησα. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. But if it was future tense, it would be the. So this would be an o here, and the tonus would be here. So the or the Iso. Maybe I shouldn't have introduced that.
Okay.
We'll find it. Okay, moving on to agapao. So this is I love, and it's exactly the same pattern. So the agi aga. Yeah, okay. So aga. So this isn't aya. This is aga because it's a back vowel, a hard vowel after the gamma. So this becomes the agapiso. Agapiso. So here's the long bit. And then if we want to make the past bit, we get agapisa. Agapisa. Okay. And if we got rid of the sa, hold on. Oh, come on, mouse, stop highlighting. So this is the normal noun, I agapi, the love. Yeah. So the tonus is doing the tonus stuff, but it's okay, and you've got the usa version if it's happening in the past many times. Okay, and there's another one as well, which I don't think we'll even see. Okay. Is that where I suggested stopping in my notes? Yeah, why not? Let's stop there. Okay, let's move on to the first song. I'm hoping you know these songs. They are quite old songs. The first one, Give Thanks. Mary, my wife, and I played this at our wedding. I was toying with the idea of using a link to our wedding video and putting that up here, but I don't think that's really appropriate, so we'll use a more professional one.
It would have been lovely, though.
It would have been lovely, yeah. I think my wife and possibly some of my family might not have appreciated it so much, but maybe we'll have a private showing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just wondering if we're all muted, including me. You guys are good, it's just me. On to the first song.
Σε ευχαριστώ, Θεέ, γιατί με αγάπησες και τον Ιησού θυσία προσφέρες. Σε ευχαριστώ, Θεέ, γιατί εσύ με λύτρωσες και όλο το είναι μου το άλλαξες. Γι' αυτό τώρα οι αδύναμοι ασπρούν ότι είναι δυνατή, γιατί ο Χριστός θυσιάστηκε για μας. Γι' αυτό κι οι φτωχοί μπορούν να πούν πως έχουν πλούτο του ουρανού, γιατί ο Θεός ζει τώρα στην καρδιά. Σε ευχαριστώ, Θεέ, γιατί με αγάπησες και τον Ιησού θυσία προσφέρες. Σε ευχαριστώ, γιατί εσύ με λύτρωσες και όλο το είναι μου το άλλαξες. Γι' αυτό τώρα γιατί να μην ας πουν ότι είναι δυνατή, γιατί ο Χριστός θυσιάστηκε για μας. Γι' αυτό κι οι φτωχοί μπορούν να πουν πως έχουν πλούτο του ουρανού, γιατί ο Θεός ζει τώρα στην καρδιά. Γι' αυτό τώρα
Lovely. If I could ask you all to unmute. Brings back many, many memories, this song. Okay. How did you find this and the verbs? Shall we go through this?
Yeah, it was a little tricky, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah, only just a few bits. Like it's like a tongue twister.
Okay, so taking this first verse, Christina, where would you like to start? Don't have to go in order particularly. Do you want to just...
Or what? Like, you want me to sing it?
No, it would be
Oh,
nice.
thank you.
Maybe not here. Any questions on any of the verbs? Any of the
Oh.
we were doing, or anything else that you can comment on?
Actually, when the sacrifice one,
Yeah, this is
when I first read it, I was like, oh, what's that? But then I looked down and then I remembered what you had said, what we were talking about. So it actually, I felt okay with it. And I was mainly focusing on pronunciation rather than translating it as I was singing it. So I was just trying to pronounce it correctly at that point.
Okay.
Same. It was hard for me there.
Although the speed was easier than some of the other songs.
Yeah, lots of Greek songs are.
But I would not say it was easy.
Okay, let me take us through this a little bit then. Okay, so ευχαριστώ we know as I thank you. This is God talking to God. This is why it's there at the end. Ποιος, there, I'm talking to him because this is a me rather than a with, because it's before the verb. And here we have one of the past tenses. So the verb is agapao. Oh, there's a mistake there with the tons. Let's fix that in the notes. Okay.
Where is it meant to be? On
this one's correct here. This one is just meant to be this is
okay.
Onos shouldn't be here.
Yeah. There's two of those.
Agapao.
Okay.
So this one's short, this one's short, and this is doing something merging with the ending agapao. Yeah. Okay, and as I mentioned, you have the S coming in, agapisses. Okay, and to be honest, yes, God loved me as we're singing this, but to me it was more than he loved me once. He loved me continuously.
Yeah.
So why they chose this one? Part of the reason is to have the syllable so it fits in with the music, but perhaps they didn't really want to focus on that. This works, yeah. So this version with the S in can mean that you're not really talking about the frequency. Okay, so here we are. Prosphero is the verb, which I haven't even spelt out because it's very regular. So prosphero, we've moved the tonus back from here to here. We've got the ending S on the ends. So this is offer, I offer. Okay, this is our favorite one about redeeming. We talked about that. Allah is I change. And so this becomes a ks, which is actually a bit irregular because I say ks was the back of the throat and z is really kind of in the middle of the mouth. But anyway, there we go. And the tonus has moved back. These words are all very closely related, here and here. So the natos is the adjective masculine singular doer doing for being strong. So this has become plural, the nati. Again, the doer is doing, but it's also after ina, which is why it's the nati. And this has got an a at the front. So this is those. Is that a mistake? Should that be a T here? Me. No, I think it might be a me. I have to go back and listen to it. But it's almost the same. This means not. So this is the not. In other words, the weak. We enjoyed the word sacrifice. Christina did. She mentioned it. Thisia.
Yeah.
Now we've got this. We've kind of got thisia in here. Yeah. This has become the verb sacrificed. Okay, which I did mention a little bit in the notes as a quick example. So, I did it with Stavro. Okay, where's the same example? I'll come back to it. Maybe it was completely regular, which is why I picked it. Maybe it's in the next song and I've changed the order. Where are we? Okay, and the other is, Leo, this poon. This is the verb for to speak, and this is completely irregular. So this is the general way of I say. And if you want to do na, it becomes po. So this has got the un ending on. And really, I would want to write it with the tonus, but the Greeks don't when it's a one syllable word. So this is let it be that they say. And the they in this case is the weak people. Okay, next song. Okay. No, on to the next song. Okay, can we all mute ourselves, including me?
Ιησού, τη δόξα σου θα ψάλλουμε, θα πούμε σ' όλους, γιατί σταυρώθηκες. Το χρέος πλήρωσες με το αίμα σου. Και πάλι πήγες ψηλά στους ουρανούς.
Okay, guys, cut this one short, I'm afraid. Could you unmute yourselves?
Yep.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so your homework is for yourselves. Yeah, they're lovely how these ladies sing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another old song, a great song.
I think you sent me this song before, haven't you, Pete?
In Greek, possibly.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, I just remembered it in Greek because when I heard it in English, I didn't recognize it. But then,
Really?
watching that video, I remembered it.
So this song, what would it be? About 40 years ago? Show my. I don't know if it just came out then or something, but it was one of the first songs that I was learning when I became a Christian. And yeah, wasn't married at that stage. So again, many memories. Okay, so we've got Poume again, which was from Leo. So this is we will say that Poume. So that one there. We've got this Stavrothikes, which I was trying to jump into before and had to hold back. So here we go. Here's our example. So Stavros, we know is cross. Stavrono would mean I crucify or I am crucifying, mean either in the sort of present tense. So this is the doer doing. So I am crucifying something, rather cruel. So if instead it's I am crucified or I am being crucified, stavronome, so this gets the ome ending, so this is the doer doing type thing. And it kind of goes a bit wild. It's explained in the book, and actually that's what my lesson was on today. So you're on quite advanced stuff really. So this ome for the future becomes a tho, and the tonus has moved right up. So I will be crucified is that stavrotho, that's stavrotho. And then I was crucified. The tonus moves back again, and we've got, as well as the tho, we've got an extra eek, and then we've got the ending here. Stavrothika, I was crucified. So I do explain this in the book in a lot more detail. Yeah, but I mean we can see it here in the song that we're singing. So where was it? Stavrothikes. I missed the S. Okay, so the S at the end here. This is the past tense use, you singular, friendly, and then Stavro we know. And you can probably guess what it would mean. So here's another one, plirono. I think I mentioned that. So that's I pay. And this is you paid. To kreos is one of these funny OS ones, which is actually neuter. Normally OS is masculine. Occasionally there are a few feminine ones. Was it last week we covered them, Christina? I think it may have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. PS. Okay, so this has got the ending. This is a verb, but it's quite an irregular one. So if we go back to our table, I had skipped this, as one does. Here we go. So I go, you've probably learned this elsewhere, Christina, is pieno or pau. And then for the future, one time, or not saying about it, it would be thapau. And if you want to do the past, it would be piga. And then we've got this funny gamma thing, changing the sound according to the ending. So I go is piga. Sorry, I went. This is past tense. I went is piga. You went would be pies. ES ending at the end, so it carries on. Okay, another irregular one. Do I have a question? No?
No, I'm just sort of whispering to myself what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Vino, I give. The future of that is θα δώσω, which I say here, which actually, Christina, this may be useful to you when you're in Greece. If you want to say, give something to me, so for the imperative, remember, this becomes an if you're being friendly, so it'd be δώσε μου, give to me. In English, you would say, give me, but it's not me that's being given, it's coming to me. So δώσε μου. Okay, so the past tense of this, έδωσα. So this is a short verb. We want the I gave on the past, so this will be an a. Because it's short, the tonus back, I get an on it. So this is έδωσα, I gave. Okay, πλένω, θα πλύνω. So this doesn't really put an s in, it changes the vowel before it. So the past of this would be έπλυνα. Move the tonus back, put the I washed ending on, so that a for I. Βρίσκω, here's another one. Μπαίνω, I go in, I enter. Θα πάω or μπήκα, MP is a b. Βγαίνω, θα βγω, I go out.
You say that one again?
Μπαίνω, βγαίνω.
Does it have a B sound or a P sound there?
G.
So what does VG combined to be?
Geno. Yeah, tell me about it. This one's easy because the V goes on to the tha. So this becomes thav go. That's how I hear it. I don't hear thav go. I hear thav go.
So if we can't physically say two sounds at once, what's the one sound that's coming out? That's what I'm not.
I think
say the beginning of it again.
Where's Titos when we need him?
Right, go wake him up.
I will. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Geno. Okay.
Is it like a silent V sort of thing?
I don't think I'm saying it silently. Geno. So I've got a bit of a f with my lips. And then a g. To be honest, you can say the two at the same time because the v is at the front of your mouth and the g is down in your. You just have to get them in the
That is so not English.
Okay, I'm about to come on to something you love, Christina. So give me a break a little bit. This isn't the one that you love, it's the next one. So matheo is I learn. So I learn one times thamatho. So I learnt one time would be ematha. Yeah. So this is a funny thing, how this short. But this is the one that you love, thelo. The past of it isn't ethela, which is what you do. Ethela. Yes. And I don't know how many lessons ago it was when you mentioned this word.
I'm impressed you remember that.
Pay attention. I just don't manage to actually reply in time. Right. So the version you had was that ethela. So ethela is I wanted. And now we've got a that on the front, so we're trying to make it future, and we've also got it past. Okay, so this
go ahead.
A kind of conditional version of it, that it would be thaithala. So
if I'm ordering a Freddo cappuccino.
Freddo paracalo.
Say that again.
Thaithala. And Freddo paracalo.
So no thalo. Or would be I would like.
Well, it's you go up to the bar and you say I want a coffee. It's kind of rude. Yeah.
Or should I just say give me a coffee?
I would say 3, 4 boro, which is I'm able to. Boro na eho. I'm able to have. because that's a much more regular pattern. You don't have to mess around with the endings. You know these are Oz or I. Because if you want to say we would like a coffee, then this isn't going to be ithela, it's going to be thelame, because AME is the ending for the we. And so you haven't got the E because you haven't moved the tonus back. So we would like a coffee.
Θέλαμε δύο καφές. No.
Θέλουμε. Well, yeah, I mean, this is I want.
Dios would be two. Dio.
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 Cafe these days. It's a nice irregular noun. Maybe stick to the fredel, which doesn't really have a plural form. Vio fredel.
That's okay. I like those the best anyway.
Yeah, perfect. That's that problem solved.
But what's cinnamon? I like cinnamon.
So let me just jump back a little bit. So here we are. Ame. Sosame. We saved. Yeah.
Why are we on what?
Oh, hold on. So sozo.
I want a Fredo with cinnamon.
Didn't you ask me about we save?
No.
You asked me about cinnamon.
Like you put cinnamon on the Fredo, cappuccino.
The spice.
I'm not.
Canellas.
Kind of like a garnish.
Yeah, which is quite close to the word for rabbits.
Oh.
What? Lagos?
No, rabbit.
Lagos?
Canela, you know. Oh, that's cinnamon. We'll go to the bar and we'll find out. On with the lesson. On with the lesson. Where'd we got to? Oh, we were looking at a regular.
It's almost dinner time here. My food,
Yeah.
my mind is on
Leo spoken about. Okay, let's go on with this then. I take the hint. Okay, we're going to have some fun ones now. Real fun. Oh, okay. Let's because your dinner's calling you. This is a lovely song, by the way. Rock of My Salvation. Skip that one because your dinner is calling.
It's okay.
We'll go on to this guy. Well, we have got a fair few to get through. We might do that one at the end if you really wish. That can be okay. Let's stick ourselves on mute. On to the next one. Ooh, come on, mouse.
Well, that one was definitely more difficult for me.
Yeah, I lost myself in the words, sorry. Not quite sure. Maybe there was a verse I missed out. I'm going to have to come back to that and check it.
I think it was just like rhythm of the words, the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, I found that one hard to like keep with.
Mm.
Song. Really, really nice how she gets going on the bouzouki. We can talk through it a little bit and play it again. Okay. Agapimene, mene. So this is talking to him. Agapimenos is beloved. So this is talking to him, talking to Jesus. My beloved Jesus. This is that isn't meant to be written there. That's meant to be written down here. Don't know who checks this typing. They don't do a very good job. So this verb pleno, to wash. So plenes. So pleno becomes pleno. Becomes plines, plines, because I've got to move the tonus back as well. With blood. Harizo was this verb about giving at a great cost. So harises, I've moved the tonus back. I've changed the z to a s. And I've got the s ending on here. This is just the normal I follow. It's a good verb to learn. Same in New Testament Greek. In the street of life, tisois, this is the ending of the that we spoke about last week. Go on.
No, nothing. I was just saying the words. I'm sorry. I'll mute myself.
Yeah. Yes. Tohieri, Dora, you hold. Katas is holding here. Milau, milas. So this is you speak, you say. How many ways? I've tried prospatho. So prospatho becomes prospathisa, tried. And so we go on with some other verbs here. I guess we've got quite a lot of new vocabulary, which is not helping with the jumping around. I go forwards. Maybe that's proper. I want to check that. Maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. Sure. I'm getting quite a lot of homework out of this. Solutions is this word here, lysis. This looks a lot like a verb, but it's not. It's a plural of solutions. Vro, now vro. Vro was one of these ones from Briscoe I found. So not I'm able to find. To go forwards, vro. So my father, Pateras, but you've lost the S because we're talking to him. This is creator. There should be a tonus on the end there. So my father, God, my creator. Esos, this was the saved. You saved. Esos que ego. That should be. I'm not forgetting. I don't forget. I only want to worship. This is all the time. It's not la trezzo, which would be one time. So here we're emphasizing lots and lots of times. Only you. Thank you. Okay. Difficult. Yeah. Let's try another.
So
Okay.
the line with the word solutions.
Yeah.
I am not following the translation. I have and then.
Yeah, this one. So the word order is different from English.
Yeah.
This we would put at the end of the sentence. ke δεν μπορώ να βρω λύσεις. Okay, and this word is the feminine of it is e lisi, so feminine with a eta here, an e, and these feminine words with a s sound just before them make their plurals in a funny way. So we're on to stuff which is really going to handle this. Sorry, go on.
I think I'm okay with that word, but the vrisko, what?
Yeah, this
does
is
it change to a me at the beginning of that word? Does the beta change to a me?
so
Roro,
yeah, and I missed it.
roro.
Boro, MP is a b. MP
MP
is boro. I can, I'm able to. So not, I'm able to find. So I said boro na eho cafe.
So what is nabro?
But MP is just a b. It's not
Okay, so then the last word's the nabro. Navro.
Navro. Yeah.
What's the vro? Does that come from vrisko?
Exactly right.
Oh,
Oh,
that messes with me.
so here we are, Brisco, which is I find. The future for finding one time will be Thavro. Okay, which is the most common form because you don't repeatedly find something. Normally you find it and then you've got it. So,
yeah,
it's Thavro. Okay, and then the past of it is Vrika. In your book, you'll find some examples of the most common ones, which I think includes all of these in pages 58, 59, and a 4-page list of them at the back of the book. And maybe try, well, to be honest, I would say you do need to know piano for going. Leo, I mentioned, and Leo, you can easily mix up thapao and thapo. Thapao is I go, and from Leo, that becomes thapo, and the past of that is ipa. So you said is ipes with the es ending. Yeah, well, so vino is a very good verb to learn. Not so important till you find all your clothes are dirty and you've got a problem, which, given that you're bringing your family, maybe will be a useful word.
Oh, we plan on hand washing every night.
Okay, right, fair enough. Vrisco, we've already mentioned. Yeah. This one that we can't really say. Again, maybe not so important. You could say how exo. Exo is out. Out, yeah. And even really you could say mesa, I go in, I go inside. You are really talking like a young child, but there's nothing wrong with that. It skips a verb. Matheno is for learning, is that will come up quite a lot. God does teach us and we are learning. And thelo, which you already know.
Lepo, I see. That's
Lepo.
my favorite verb. That's my favorite one to say, lepo.
Yeah, we haven't got vlepo in this list because I don't think it's in any of the songs, but it's certainly in this section here. So vlepo would be vlepo, dado. So just this bit, I see, dado, and the past of it is either ei delta alpha. So it's got some of the characteristics of ethela, but a different e. So yeah. So I saw, but I saw maybe isn't in worship songs so much, so we managed to not do it.
Yeah. Does lepo only is it only I see as in visually see, not I Or can it also be used like in English, we say I see, like when we understand something too?
I would say catalaveno, I understand.
Catalaveno? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's rare that I'm explaining something to somebody, and they would reply that they see what I've said.
Okay.
Normally it's the other way. They're explaining, and I have to understand it. Okay. So yeah, that's that one. Okay, we're getting on to this is the one that we sang with the Hebrew in. Which the first time I came across this song was in Greek in the very room that I'm in now. So if we can put ourselves, and this song, maybe this song sounds better in Greek than it does in English. Perhaps that's why it's so popular here in Greece. If we can all mute ourselves and we move on to the next one.
Ποιος είμαι εγώ για να μπω στο λαό σου, σ' αυτούς που εσύ αγαπάς? Πώς θα μπορούσα να γίνω δικό σου, να ζήσω αυτό που ζητάς? Ως ένας ξένος που ήρθα απ' τα έθνη, να μπει σε γενιά θεϊκή. Μέσα στη χάρη με κάθισες πλάι, στο θρόνο που κάθεσαι εσύ. Ευλογημένε Θεέ, ευλογημένε Θεέ, το όνομα σου ας λάμψει παντού, Αδωνάη Θεέ του ουρανού. Πως η καρδιά σου μ' αγάπησε τόσο, που ήρθες ο ίδιος στη γη, και με το αίμα σου πλήρωσες όσα χρωστούσα από την αρχή. Το παραπέτασμα έχει σκιστεί πια, και απόκρυφα βγήκαν στο φως. Μέσα απ' την νίκη σου με έχεις λυτρώσει, είμαι δικό σου λαός. Ευλογημένε Θεέ, ευλογημένε Θεέ, το όνομα σου ας λάμψει παντού, Αδωνάη Θεέ του ουρανού. Ευλογημένε Θεέ, ευλογημένε Θεέ, το όνομα σου ας λάμψει παντού, Αδωνάη Θεέ του ουρανού.
It does sound really nice in Greek, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy was singing in one of the churches where a lot of the people from Hellenic ministries go to. It's a bit of a church plant, and he has played at some of the OJs that we've been at, and maybe he will at this one because it's close to Athens. He's a famous singer who became a Christian and has got a powerful testimony. His son you will know from OJ, and his wife was actually the translator in my first OJ that I had when I went to many years back. Beautiful, beautiful voice.
Who's his son?
J Guard, Yanis Guard. Actually,
Yannis the teenager?
yeah, he's in his 20s, I think now, possibly even 30.
Oh, okay, not the Yannis I'm thinking of. Okay.
He looks quite young.
No, Yannis that I'm thinking of, he's definitely a teenager. He came with his mom. He was in my car with Titos.
Gaudelis, that's the surname. He was at Bible college a couple of years ago. I met him there as well. Yeah, we'll see him. I'll introduce you. Okay. We had quite a few of the irregular verbs here. Boruse, again, is this boro? This is now sort of, this is a tha borusa. So this is like thaithala. So this is past, and this has got the tha on the front. So how would it be that I am able, this is, to become yours, strong version of yours. And then we had some of the irregular verbs. So this is bo. We had bo and bika. So this came from the verb bene, which was to go in or to enter. Yeah. Erchome, this is an important verb for I come, which I think may be on our list as an irregular verb. Yeah, here we go. Erchome. Yeah. So the future of it is that eltho. There's also a lot of other ways you can put an L in, you can have that eltho, and you can sort of join things together, make it one word and things like this. It has a few forms, but this is sort of the standard one, that eltho. And then the past version of it is iltha. And I think we had ilthes, you came. Kathome, I sit. So katse, you probably know, to tell someone to sit down. So that's coming from here, katse, with the e ending on it. Yeah, the no was I give.
How do you tell?
Go on.
How do you tell to sit down?
Katse.
Katse.
So this becomes a, yeah, this is a, what's his name? One person friendly. So if somebody comes to your house and it's your friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's in the book, in the chapter there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's once you've got to the future form, this is the one time happening, akatso, then it's the standard thing of changing the ending to an e, make it an action that somebody should do, and move the tonus back if you can, which you can't because there are no more syllables to go back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in that song we had so the foreigner who came here, foreigner xenos or stranger, and this is ilthe. So there was an e on the end of this for he came, and as we've seen before, e's often disappear and they merge with the following vowel. So this is ilthe apo, from, you came from, to enter, nabi. Basically, I mean, what I was doing, Christina and Enoch, was take a photograph of what you see come up on the screen and then sit down and just work through it. Like we were coding a few lessons back. you know, start picking out the words you know and then start filling in the spaces. You've got Google Translate, which helps. The problem with some of these past tenses is you want to get back to the main form. So where the S sound has changed the consonant, somehow you want to undo that and get back to the consonant, which is why I've given you a lot of them down here. I've given all of them apart from the regular ones following the patterns that I gave at the beginning. Last song, Michalis Litsakis. He's a friend of mine, really. He's the distributor of the book in Greece. I didn't know he was a composer when I met him. This song, again, we don't have this in English, so enjoy. Mute ourselves.
Που μου χάρισες, μάθε μου για σένα να τη ζω, να με αναπαύσει χαρά της καρδιάς σου, να ζω για να σε ευχαριστώ. Η ζωή
Okay.
I think that's my favorite one from today.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, beautiful song.
Do you know what I find quite difficult though? The n sound, which looks like a V.
Yeah.
So when you get that last, especially that last, you know, that last word in the chorus,
Sana.
it says sana. Yeah. Oh gosh, gets me every time I say I say verse. He said.
Well, to be honest,
because of the
out,
yeah.
replace them. Put ends in, because
yeah.
I mean, at the moment, it's probably more important to actually learn to be able to say the words, and
yeah,
writing. Okay, I mean, for you, reading is probably more important than writing when you read the New Testament. So I can't remember if that's in the New Testament. I think it is. Yeah, it's a prefix on what's his name on verb, so it must be, I think. Yeah, maybe don't go writing it all over your Greek Bible, but certainly on a printout.
Yeah.
Yeah, the things you find confusing. Or alternatively, go back to the playlist and maybe play it without looking at the words, because a lot of these words you do know. Pneuma, you know. Xana, you soon learn because it's coming up so much. Well, Zoe, life. Stigmi, perhaps you didn't know that at this moment, but by the time you've done this song, you certainly will know it because it's repeated times. Yeah. Arizo, this is the past tense. Harises. So you gave freely to me at a great cost from Harizo. It's beautiful, beautiful words. Actually, the tenses are quite interesting. I know it sounds a bit odd how I'm putting this, but for example, this one here, Benan, yeah? Because this was from I enter, and I was telling you that it was bo, that bo, and what was I saying? I was saying, let's bring it up. Come on. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. I was saying for Beno, I enter, I go in. It was be Thabo and Bika. Okay. So this is the one time form of it, or if you're not wanting to emphasize that it was repeated. If it's many times, I go in many times, it would be Thabeno. And for past tense, you just take this, you would change the ending to an A, or I enter, and you would move the tonus back, so you have to put an E on here. So it would be Ebena, which would be I entered many times or repeatedly. And then if we have a look at what they actually use in the song, oh, they don't put the air on. Maybe I made a mistake there. Perhaps it got dropped in the music. Something for me to check. But they've got the an, because this is many things. This is the they. So this is the moment that the nails were going in. So the repeated agony, it wasn't just one time the nails went in swiftly. It was a process. And this is what the guy is remembering and thinking about. Yeah. Surrender, paradino. Okay, dino we know as I give. Para is the prefix for through. So here we've got this business of the edines. It's not erdoses. It's because it's happening many times, or process. So it's you were surrendering, going on and on and on. So all this crucifixion of Christ wasn't just a quick instance. It really was suffering over a period. And this is what the guy is considering here in the song. That Jesus gave his life freely to us. All the suffering, all the pain, repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. That's what he did for us.
I love hariso, or in this one is harises. It's like, though obviously hearing it, I think of grace because of the word itself, but actually seeing a translation of it here, like it pretty much tells you exactly what grace is, that that gift, that freely given gift that comes at great cost, but you don't have it's really cool seeing that now that we're learning the Greek.
The words joining up.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very good.
So my thoughts are try and squeeze one more lesson in before the guys come here to Greece, and not really planning on teaching anything else but some other well-known songs in Greek. So it's mainly just a sing along and pray along. A bit less restricted in terms of what I can use. I'm trying not to introduce too much vocabulary. But I mean, this song, well, maybe you guys knew half the words at least.
You're sweet.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this song, this is grace. Harry says. Shall we play it once more and close?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll switch off at the end. Actually, I've got another version up here. Shall we try this other one? Okay. You guys have got the words in front of you, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. So I won't bother marking it out. I'll let us watch the video here. Okay. So closing with this and wishing you well, a lovely couple of weeks or so. Adume, we will see. Okay, let's see what this will do. Mute ourselves.
Σκέφτομαι στιγμή που το πνεύμα σου παρέδινες, τη ζωή μου έδινες ξανά.
Signing off from Athens. Good night.
Καλή νύχτα.
Καληνύχτα. Bye-bye.
Bye.